Well, good afternoon, West Ham fans. Russ and the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe and well. Had a bit of a rant, not rant, this one, amusing this morning about how long you would give Graham Potter when it comes to next season. And then we had the Graham Potter press conference at lunchtime, just after lunch. And now we have, my friends, Hammer's Headlines in association with the KUMB.com. Boys, don't forget to check them out. Great content as per usual for the latest news, reviews, and opiniones. Now, 4 stories to talk about, all transfer related, unfortunately, but we are entering the last 6 games of the Premier League season with the transfer window due to open on the 1st of June for the first 10 days, and it stops for a week while the Club World Cup happens or is happening, and then it reopens on the 16th, I think, all the way through. Anyway, let's crack on. Let's talk about some players we've been linked to, and not necessarily household names, which I quite like, to be honest. West Ham, Chelsea, and Spurs are apparently, according to reports, battling out for the Strasbourg winger Delane Barqua this summer. Now, Strasbourg themselves have been a bit of a revelation in Ligue, to be honest. They had a poor start to the season, but now they're contending for the Champions League spaces, and that could help West Ham really if Strasbourg and Chelsea both qualify for the Champions League. Obviously, we'll be linked with Amica, the striker, as well, and Chelsea would have to relinquish the shares they own in Strasbourg, or indeed Chelsea, if both are in the Champions League due to the multi-club ownership rules. Now, Liam Rashinia's side are doing fantastic, and Lord Barqua, has been in sensational form. He's got 8 assists, which is the second most in the French league this season, 13 goal contributions so far, and his performances have piqued the interest of many clubs in London, it seems, but also further afield. He's a French under-21 international who will also be looking to break into the national side, the full sides, in the near future. The reports also state Newcastle and Brentford, as well as Bayer Leverkusen, Eintracht Frankfurt, and Marseille have all been monitoring the attacking ace, who's valued around 26 million. Bargain, to be honest. He's one of the best wingers in Ligue, without a shadow of a doubt. He's really enjoy it. Anyone who watches Ligue, he's tricky, good technically. He's very creative as well, and I think something we sort of need. And he likes to go after the ball. He's I think the article they called him a tenacious ball winger. And with maybe a Potter side where there's slightly less defensive responsibilities for their attacking players, I think he could really shine, and it's no surprise that there's a dozen clubs after him. But West Ham are apparently in the hunt, and I said hunt. Another player we're looking at, according to our friend Sky Sports' Florin Peltenberg, who I haven't said for a long time, but according to him, West Ham are monitoring the Werder Bremen left back Felix Agu. He's got the song already in it. Agu, do push by an apple, shake the tree. But it isn't a tree that is going to cost. It's a release clause of around 10 million euros for the 25-year-old left back, and that's valid until the end of May, which I don't think that doesn't seem to make sense because you can't buy a player until June the 1st. But anyway, he has been crucial for Werder, as they sit 9th in the Bundesliga, 3 points away from a European place. He scored 3 goals and 3 big chances in 17 appearances for Werder Bremen this year, winning 63% of his ground duels. He's been described as a well-rounded left-back and a massive asset for the Hammers. He's joined the club, I think, in 2020 and has been steadily sort of improving, and this year was very much his breakout year. And it remains to be seen if West Ham will decide to pull the trigger, but we have been monitoring his progress. We'll wait and see. One player we have been scouting regularly is the Galatasaray forward, and a player I have no qualms in saying I'd love to play for West Ham, Barış Yilmaz. According to the Turkish newspaper Turkey, probably took them ages to come up with that name, to be honest. They reported early this week that we were forced to shelve our interest in a striker in the January transfer window. We'd had a bid of 22 million or 21.6 million, something like that, rejected by Galatasaray in the winter. But we had to shelve those plans because Galatasaray were only considering selling him in the summer when the season had all finished. With the campaign drawing to a close, we are now apparently preparing, according to the reports, an ambush to secure the 24-year-old's services, and are ready to make an offer for Yilmaz after scouting him on multiple occasions, specifically recently with the Galatasaray Besiktas game. We were there seeing him. Galatasaray are willing to sell him for around 30 million quid, and West Ham are ready to push Galatasaray to their limits to enable to rope. That's what the report says, rope Yilmaz in ahead of the new season. We're not the only club in town interested in him. The likes of Forest and Napoli are also both in the mix, and obviously both likely to be in the Champions League. So West Ham will have some convincing to get the hitman in at London Stadium. But as I said, he's a player I think West Ham fans would really warm to. He's just got that. I don't want to say that Fornals quality, but in that sort of that association with the fan base, he really is a player I think we'd all get behind. And I'd love to see West Ham. It'll be absolute box office. One player who will not be leaving, or at least not for Bristol City, in the summer is George Earthy. We spoke about sort of decisions being made with the academy players in yesterday's morning musing, but West Ham have ruled out any chance of selling George Earthy to Bristol City in the summer. He's had a mixed spell on loan, but he's coming into his own the last few games, and I think it's 3 Man of the Match awards he's won back to back, and Bristol City have moved into the Championship playoffs. Now, according to the article in Claret and Hugh, the former West Ham coach, who's now the Bristol City head coach, Liam Manning, is now spoke of his desire to sign Earthy on a permanent deal, saying George has been outstanding for us. It speaks volumes about his character, his attitude, and now he is a person. However, his dreams of signing him permanently have been dashed, apparently, according to Claret and Hugh, who's their senior source, has said no chance. He revealed last night there's been no inquiries for Bristol City, adding, I doubt they could afford him anyway. Earthy is allegedly wanted back for pre-season, where he could be assessed by Graham Potter, who receives regular feedback on Hammers loanees via Colton Cole, who's the loan manager at West Ham, who goes out on loan all the time, and goes out on loan, but goes out and sees the players and keeps abreast of what's going on. I think it's absolutely a no-brainer. Don't get rid of him. He's a hell of a player, and I think he's someone who can make a massive difference further down the line at West Ham, for sure. And that's it, my friends. Thank you very much for your time, as per usual. Don't forget to check out news@motherbrand.com for latest news, reviews, and opinions. And then from tomorrow onwards, we'll start getting all the stuff ready for the Southampton game on Saturday. And obviously, Good Friday, so a day off for us in the UK. I'm sure it's a bank holiday elsewhere in other parts of the country, other parts of the world as well. And obviously Easter Monday, so a long weekend for us. And hopefully West Ham don't ruin it in the middle on the Saturday. Anyway, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, and come on, you bloody irons. Much love. Bye bye.